With that smoke on the side, say what they want, what they like. You know what's better by your side. Ain't no confusion, baby. You know I'm ready to ride. Always I'm with you, baby. You know what that smoke on the side. We keep it easy, baby. Say what they want, what they like. With a honey, baby. We keep it a honey, baby. Y'all come on in. Ain't no you I'm ready to ride. We keep it a honey, baby. We keep it a honey, baby. We keep it a honey, baby. Y'all come on in. Make sure y'all come on in to the video. For my king, live for my king, give me a bell. I'm not right. You live on what I want you live on. Sure, he brings the fears I need. He's the only man for me. He gives me the painful part of me. Come on in, y'all. He's the only one that's loving me. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Never control me. I'm gonna keep you rocking till I R.I.P. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Come on in. So we gonna get ready to y'all. I had to get this real quick. I had to fix something. Oh, wait a minute, hold up. Nobody told us it's gonna be easy. Okay. All right, we in here. So y'all know we all here today. Y'all know I had to change my guests I had on here today because I feel like this guest was way more important. Come on in, y'all. Come on in, Adrian and Gladys and Angela and Rose and Pretty Black. All y'all come on in. I know y'all still over there watching the debate. But I think we have something. I'm gonna say it's of a different kind of importance. We have a guest on here today who has experienced something that I don't want to even imagine. Something that I can't even imagine. Something that a lot of us can't imagine. Something that a lot of us can't imagine, and that is the loss of a child. We're not on here to bash anyone. I want to make that very clear because y'all know I got me a little DMs and all that kind of stuff like that. But I'm gonna hit y'all one of these. You know, we're not on here to bash nobody. That's not what we're on here for. She has not bashed anyone to me yet. So she just want to come on here and she just want to find out what happened to Jakari. So I'm gonna let you introduce yourself to everybody and tell everybody why you're on here today.
My name is Tara Shaw, and I'm here today because I want to find out what happened to my son, Jakari. He drowned in a pool in Alabama on July 5th.
Okay. So I'll take us back to you allowing just Jakari's father to come and pick him up. I was reading what you posted on Facebook, which is literally still going viral right now. You allowed his father to come and get him. So that phone call between his father coming to get him, once he got him, take us from there.
I have several serving jobs trying to make ends meet because I have 2 kids that I have to take care of. That particular weekend, I had to work 2 of my jobs every day that weekend. And that would require me to work till 2 a.m. at one, get off, and be back at the other at 7 a.m. So I thought it'd be best for my son to stay with his dad for the weekend rather than me dropping him off, picking him back up, dropping him off, picking him back up.
And his dad resided in Kentucky?
Bowling Green, Kentucky, where I live.
Okay.
He picked him up that Friday. He met me at the end of our apartment, at the street of our apartment with his girlfriend. Picked him up. I got him out of the car like I normally would. I told him to tell his daddy what he had learned. He had learned to say lion. And I said, what does the lion say? And he said, roar. But he would whisper it. It was the cutest thing, and I just wanted his daddy to know.
Right.
So his daddy takes him. I tell him, bye, love you, be a good boy, I'll see you later, like I would any other time. He puts him in his car. I leave to go to work, and they leave. Later that night, while I'm at work, I get a phone call from the aunt that said, since Kari is already down here, can I keep him for the 4th of July?
And where was Kari at that point?
Kari was already in Alabama, on his way to Mobile, Alabama, which I had no knowledge of until she called me and told me, since he's already down here, can I keep him? After I got off the phone with her, I called his dad, and we had an argument about, you should at least let me know that you were going to leave the state with my child.
Right.
That's something I might want to know in case something happens and I don't even know where he is.
Right.
I told him, I'm not mad at you for wanting to take him to see your family. You should have just told me. That was the issue, is that you didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I called Shamika back and I told her, that it's fine if you want to keep him for the 4th of July. I have to work as usual, and I don't have a mom or a dad or a lot of family to have get-togethers or cousins and as a mom, I wanted my son to have fun. I want him to have family. I want him to be around people who love him, especially if I can't.
Right.
So I told her, yeah, it's fine that he brings him to you when he leaves Mobile on Sunday, and you can keep him until the 4th of July. I gave her my permission to keep my son.
Okay. So she keeps him in Mobile, Alabama?
Sweetwater.
So at this point, he's in Sweetwater. He hasn't yet.
On Sunday, his dad left Mobile, which is
Okay.
where Grandpa, their dad, is from.
Okay.
He left Mobile and took him to Sweetwater to his aunt on Sunday. So on Sunday, she got care of him.
Okay. So did she go get him from Mobile, or did his father bring him?
His dad took him and dropped him off.
All right. So through this time, she has gotten physical custody of him. So then you began calling her and video chatting with her, right? And making sure that you could see your son and he could see his mom and all that kind of stuff. Yep. And then you were doing that quite often. And then all of a sudden it got funny, right? It got funny. So what happened?
Every day, multiple times a day, we would message back and forth. How is he? How's he doing? Can you send me a picture? Can he call me? Friday, I think we only spoke a couple of times on Friday instead of multiple times like we normally would. And then Saturday, on the 4th of July, I sent her a message and I said, good morning, happy 4th of July. Hope you guys have a good day. How's Jakari? She didn't respond until like 7 o'clock that night.
And what time was it when you first initially reached out to her?
It was around 12-ish. It was like early afternoon.
Okay.
And at 7, she responded with, he's good. That's it. That's all I got was, he's good. At 8:30, 8:45, I guess, I sent her another message and I said, did he have a good time? Did he like the fireworks? He's only 1. He's never seen them. Right. Did he enjoy it? Was he, how was it going?
Right.
And I didn't get a response at all. The next morning,
which is the 5th.
Yes, the 5th. Okay. I woke up later than I was supposed to because I had my oldest son and I had to take him back to meet his dad. I woke up later than I was supposed to. I was supposed to be there at 12. I didn't wake up till about 12:15. At around 12:30, I sent her a message and I said, is my baby okay? And I didn't get a response until 1:12. At 1:12, my phone rang and it was her. And all she told me was, Kara, I need you to come to the country. I was under the assumption that their other brother was supposed to be bringing my son back to Kentucky as he was on his way to where he lives, farther north than where I live. So he was just going to drop him off.
Okay.
So when she calls me and she says, I need you to come to the country, I'm like, well, you know what? What's going on? What's the matter? I said, is my baby okay? Is he okay? And she said, I need you to come to Alabama ASAP. And she hung up the phone. That's all I was told. Come. So I sent her messages and I called and she wouldn't answer and she wouldn't respond to my messages. And finally, I sent her a message that said, I need to know your address and I'll be on my way. I need to know where you are and I will be on my way. She sent me and I said, is my son okay? She sent me the address, but again, never responded.
Mhm.
Is he okay? Is he not okay? What happened? Nothing. So I'm obviously a nervous wreck.
Right.
You're telling me to come, but you won't tell me if it's okay. And obviously, I know something is wrong with my baby because you won't tell me.
Right.
At about 12:45, she calls me at 12:30. No, 1:12. At 1:45, I get a phone call from one of the brothers' wives that lives here in Bowling Green, with where I live.
Okay.
And she said, Tara, what happened to your baby? What do you mean, what happened to my baby? I don't know. Nobody will tell me anything. Shamika won't answer the phone. I don't know. I said, somebody needs to tell me what's going on. She said, they said he had an accident. What do you mean? Is he okay? Is he okay? She said, they said he died. And
Just like
I immediately hung up the phone because I can't believe that. You're not there. I can't believe you. I hang up the phone, calling Shamika, calling, texting, what happened? What's going on? Is my son okay? Please tell me, over and over and over again, and she will not respond.
wow.
So I finally was on my way to Alabama, 6.5 hours from where I live.
Just being told that your son died by somebody, and you don't really even know if he died.
I don't know what is happening because
Right.
Mika never mentioned my son and what was going on. And then I had another one of the family members call and say he died. So
Right. You just a nervous wreck.
I'm just on my way to Alabama as fast as I can go because I don't know.
Right.
On the way to Alabama, I'm texting and I'm calling the baby's dad. Do you know what's going on? Do you know what's happening? Like, did anybody tell you anything? No, we don't know. We don't know anything either. They just said
The father, his father.
They told me that they didn't know anything either. All they were told to, him and his girlfriend, all they were told to was get to Alabama as fast as you can.
Okay.
Okay. So finally, it's around 2:45 or so. I'm on my way to Alabama. And finally, I send her a text message or a Facebook message. And I said, how can you do this to me? I trusted you. I need to know what's going on with my son. What happened? Where is he? Where is he? She never responded. She just sent me the address to a hospital in Thomasville, Alabama.
Wow.
So I took the address and I put it into Google and it pulled up the actual hospital. And I hit the call button. I called the hospital. The operator picked up and I said, I don't know who I need to talk to. I don't know. All I know is that I think my 1-year-old son is there and I want to know what's going on. Is he okay? They told me to hold. And a doctor picked up on the other end and he said, he was an ER doctor. And I said, again, I repeated, I don't know who I need to talk to or what I need to do or anything. But my name is Tara Shaw, and I think that my 1-year-old son might be there. And I want to know if you can tell me what's going on. Is he okay? Right. What happened? And he said, the first thing I want to say is that your son was absolutely beautiful. And me and my nurses did all we could do. But your son drowned in a pool. and I pronounced him dead at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. And I didn't get the first phone call until 1:12. And even then, it was just, get here.
Nothing, just get here.
Just get here. So I found out on the phone from a man that I have never seen in my life that my baby was dead. But there were family members in Bowling Green that knew before I did.
On the father's side. And they didn't, no one called you and told you what was going on.
The closest I got to knowing what was going on was when the other brother's wife called me and told me he had an accident. They said he was dead. I mean, she told me, but
you couldn't believe it because you hadn't had confirmation from
people who were there, people who were with him. Maybe, you know, the information got crossed somewhere. I don't know. I'm trying to find every way I can for it not to be true in my mind.
Right.
So I asked the doctor, after he tells me that my son died, I asked him, I said, you know, can you keep him until I get there? Because if you don't, I'm never going to get to hold my son again. He said, well, try. I said, okay. And again, I'm 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours away from where my son is laying in the hospital, dead.
let me stop you right here. What was that like to have to drive all of those hours and not know and finally get confirmation that your son is dead and you have to still continue going? What was that like to be in the car? What did you experience just being there? Because I can only imagine you wanted to take your boyfriend or husband's foot and push it to the gas harder because it's like he's not going faster. So tell us, if you can, what was that like in those moments?
Everything stood still. The whole world was turning, everything, cars on the road, and everything just went blank, literally in shock. That's the only way I could describe it. I mean, I was obviously bawling, crying, like, I don't want to believe it, you know, because at this point, I haven't seen him. Maybe they got the wrong baby. Maybe it, you know, I'm coming up with as many stories as I can to how it's not him. It can't be. Can't be. And the rest of the way down there, it was, maybe when I get there, it won't be him.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. But I couldn't believe it.
Right. So when you got to the hospital.
I didn't get to the hospital.
Oh, okay. So what happened?
The hospital called me back and said, because I had given them my information when I talked to them the first time.
Right.
The hospital called me back and said, ma'am, we hate to call you like this, but the coroner is here to pick up the baby. He's going to take him to a funeral home in Demopolis, and you can meet him there to see your son before he has to go to Montgomery to get a autopsy. Because anybody under the age of 18 has to have an autopsy done.
Okay.
So I was like, you know, I asked if you could keep him, because if he takes him, they won't let me hold him. And he's like, yes, ma'am, I know, but we don't have a morgue here at the hospital, and I don't have anywhere to put him. And he's like, I'm sorry, but can you see if somebody can come sign his body over to the coroner? What do you mean, can somebody come sign his body over to the coroner? Are there not family members there with him?
Oh, my God.
No, ma'am. Nobody's here. My nurses have taken turns sitting with your son so that he's not by himself. So I had to call my son's dad and say, I need you to tell your brother or your sister or somebody to go back to the hospital and sign the papers so the coroner can bring his body to
Okay,
Demopolis.
so where was the father at this point? Where was his father?
We were both he on Sunday when he dropped him off. He come back to Bowling Green. We were
Okay.
both in, so we were both on our way there.
Okay.
Um,
And so the baby was literally just up at the house. The people who were responsible or negligent in his death didn't stay at the hospital with him until somebody came.
they left him there by himself.
See, and this is what I'm talking about when I was kind of like talking to a few people in my inbox. When I was saying that, like, can't nobody stop her from coming out here telling her story and how she feel about what happened, because this is from a mother's standpoint, and she got the right to come on here, no matter if y'all think she lying, if y'all think she making up something. She has the right to come on here and tell. And I'm talking so I can give you a minute. She has the right to come on here and tell her story. So that, because how would y'all feel? It could be not be no ill will, and she never said that nobody didn't love the baby or nothing like that. But how would you feel if I'm here in another state and y'all responsible for my baby dying? Not saying you killed the baby, but the baby was in your care. If the baby was in your care, the baby was your responsibility. You responsible for the baby dying. Right? And then y'all don't even got enough decency to even stay at the hospital with my baby. Now, I don't know the circumstances why nobody just stay at the hospital, but you got to put yourself in her shoes to think, if I call and the people tell me, ain't nobody even, you mean to tell me ain't nobody even up here with my baby? And y'all, my baby died while my baby was in y'all ain't got enough of my baby to stay up here with my baby till I get here. So continue the story. So you got the phone call. So did you go to the funeral home?
I was the first one to make it to the funeral home in Demopolis. Their brother, one of their brothers was there at the house with her when it happened. He had been staying with her for the past few days, I guess, for the 4th of July too. So one of their other brothers was there when it happened too. And he, which is the one that was supposed to be bringing him back the next day, even, I think he was supposed to come home on Monday. He was there, and he went back to the hospital and signed the papers so the coroner could bring him. Finally, on the way down there, the only thing Shamika said to me is, "How far are you out? How long is it going to take you to get here?" That's it. Not, this is what happened, I'm sorry, this and this and this. Just, how far are you out? How long is it going to take you to get here? And then finally, after me saying, what happened? What happened? What happened, Shamika? Tell me, what happened? Please tell me what happened. Finally, she calls me and she says, Junior's little girl, 2-year-old daughter, their brother's little girl, was on the front steps and she asked for a bag of chips. So I brought her in the house and told her, you're not going to be running in and out of the house all day. Brought her in the house. I shut the front door and locked it. I took her in the kitchen, got her a bag of chips, took her out the back door, and I walked out the back door and I said, "Where's Corey?" But she has an accent, so she says, "Corey. Where's Corey?" And they all said, "He's not out here." She said, so I went back in the house yelling like, Corey, did you, thinking he might have come in the house. He was in one of the bedrooms. He was in the bathroom. But he wasn't. The brother found him in the pool. That's the only story I got. So I called 911 and then this happened, nothing.
Nothing that made you feel like they was trying to save your son.
Not enough explanation for why my son is dead is how I felt.
You don't right.
That's not a good enough explanation for me. You were in the house and then this, like that.
So what were the children outside playing by themselves? Do you know if he was outside playing by themselves? Were they not? Obviously, they weren't being supervised if he got in the pool. So was anybody negligent would let him go out the door by him? Did he go out the door by himself, or what happened? Do you know?
Supposedly, like I said, she said she walked out the back door, and that's where all the other kids were. All the other kids were out back. So she asked them, "Where's Kari?" "He's not with us." So she goes back in the house. Her brother runs around to the front yard where the pool is and finds the baby floating in the pool.
Okay. So you have a problem with the way the baby got in the pool. You don't feel like he was tall enough, or his limbs were long enough to extend the height that it needed for him to actually climb the steps and get inside the pool. So what do you speculate will happen? You speculate somebody not tried to murder him or anything, but do you think one of the kids maybe what you think one of the kids maybe put him in the pool?
Yep. I think that they weren't keeping an eye on the kids at all, which is evident by her being in the house when one of the others come to her and said, "I want some chips." They weren't watching them.
Right.
And something happened. But that something is the problem for me. What happened?
Let me ask you this. Do you suspect, and allegedly, I'm just speculating. Do you suspect that maybe someone knows what child put the child baby in the pool and they don't want to say anything because you don't feel like he was able to get in the pool by himself?
I was with my baby every day. And I watched the struggle he had just stepping from the parking lot to the sidewalk, that 3 or 4 inches it takes to step up and down. I watched the struggle he had with that. So for him he's 2'7", 2'7" when I took him to the doctor in June. The pool stairs are 12 inches apart. So that means he would have to bring his legs half of his body height just to get on the stairs. And if he found a way to get on the stairs, it would have taken him an extremely long time to climb all 3 of them to get in the pool.
Right.
Where were you? Where was anybody? How did nobody, not a kid, not an adult, not anybody see him? But she also told 4 different stories. So
and that's where you have the problem at. The problem is you said you don't feel like you just have the truth of what happened because you have gotten so many stories about what happened. So that's one story. What is the other story that you're being told from her? What are the stories you're being told from her?
Yeah. What she called, like when she called me, she told me that her dad told her that she had to get her kids out of there because the CPS, DHR down there was going to take her kids for neglect. And she couldn't lose her kids too. Mine's dead, but you can't lose yours too. That's hurtful, but okay. Her brother told me a good story about where he was and what he was doing. And he said, I asked her, what happened? I said, what happened? She said, I just saw him on the front porch with his daughter when she asked me for chips. I just saw him. Why would you shut and lock the front door on my baby in the front yard if you just saw him? Why would you do that? There's a pool right there. Why would you bring her in, shut and lock the front door, and leave him out there and then go out the back door and ask, where's he at? Why would she say that? And he said, I think something else happened, but I don't know what. Those were his exact words to me. Then the first responder got in contact with me. The first person to show up on the scene when it happened. I was told that there was only her and the other brother there when it happened and the kids. So I asked her, did you take my baby from a really tall, dark-skinned, short-haired man? No. When I got there, I went in the front door and the baby was laying face down on the couch. And there was a man with dreads standing over top of him trying to get water out of his chest. And I took him from the man and I said, I'm here, let me have him. I took him, I started doing mouth-to-mouth and CPR. This man wasn't supposed to be there, so I don't know who he is either.
So this is the first responder telling you this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The first person who's not a part of the family to show up on scene. This is her story. She took him from a man with dreads, which nobody, her or the brother don't have dreads. So I don't know how you could take him from someone who has dreads if no one else is there when it happens.
Right.
She said I'd started mouth-to-mouth and CPR, and I asked. She said there were multiple adults on scene, multiple people, multiple kids. When I got there, she got there at like 12:14, 12:16. The 911 call came in at 12:02. So in 12 to 14 minutes, there was multiple adults and children on scene, not just her and him.
Right.
She said there were multiple people standing around, and I said, how long has he not been breathing? Nobody said a word. She said, so I said again, how long has he not been breathing? I need to know. And she said, I just went around the house for a minute. So did you go around the house or were you in the house, or were you just went around the house for a minute? That's not, you said you went out back and realized he was gone. You didn't say anything about being outside with him. There's another one. And then the sheriff told me that the deputy who showed up that day.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So you feel like when she was saying that, when she said that, when the aunt said that, do you feel like she was saying that to try to place herself on the scene to make it seem like she was supervising the children? Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I have never said you murdered my baby. I have never said that. I said something.
Say it right now. Look in the camera and say it, because they're watching. They're watching. Ask them. Ask the family. They watching. They all watching.
I never said.
I know, but ask them. You can ask them right now on camera because they're watching, and you can ask them, what happened to my baby? They are watching you right now. I promise you, they're all watching.
I just want to know. I want to know what really happened. I want to know what happened to my baby. If there were multiple children at your house and mine is the youngest, the baby of the whole group, how do you not see the baby near, in, around the pool? How do you not know where the baby is? You left him alone. You weren't watching him. That's all I do know. But for there to be multiple stories, changing of stories, because the brother come back afterwards and said, I never said something else happened. But I know for a fact, he looked me in my eye at that funeral home and said, I think something else happened, but I don't know what. But then he comes back later and says, I never said that. Yes, you did. And then she told the deputy that she had all of the kids come in from outside. It was time, it was lunch. She told them all to come inside. She told them to come in the house. And when they got in the house, then they realized my son wasn't there. I'm having a hard time believing that you can tell 4 different versions of what happened. 4 different ones. In one, you never saw him. In the other one, he was right there with the other little girl when you brought her in the house. In the other one, you brought all the kids inside. And in the other one, you just went around the house for a minute. I feel like truth is truth. There's only one truth.
Right.
There's only one. I can't believe 4 different stories from the same person. There's only one true answer. And I don't know if one of the kids put him in the pool. I don't think he got in there alone. They said that the uncle said he saw him climb those stairs. She said she was never made aware of the fact that he could climb the stairs. Did he?
And if the uncle seen him climbing the stairs, why wouldn't he stop him from going in the pool?
He said he saw him the night before. The night before he had
playing on the stairs.
But,
let me ask.
I can't get an answer on where were you? Where was anybody? Why was he outside if there wasn't an adult outside?
Do you know how old the oldest child was that was outside with them? With him?
I don't know a whole lot about what went on with them, but I think the oldest one might have been 10 or 11.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
10 or 11.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So what is it that you ultimately want? Who do you feel? What do you want to happen? As I know you want to know the truth, and you want somebody to come out and give you the truth and facts about what happened to your son. But what is your ultimate desire?
To know how. How do you neglect a 1-year-old baby that you say you love to the point to where he is dead? How do you do that? And how do you not look me in my eyes and apologize?
So let me ask you haven't gotten an apology?
I've gotten a phone call that said, I'm sorry, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to tell you. I'm so sorry. It is my fault. I blame myself too. She didn't come to the funeral home. She didn't come to his funeral. Not one person in the entire family has offered a penny for the $8,000 funeral and headstone that I had to pay for my son. Nobody has offered to help me do anything. It's like my baby, who was a part of their family too, just get rid of it. Just get it out the way. His grandma didn't come to his funeral because her blood pressure was high, but she was on Snapchat a couple hours later drinking and dancing with the uncle who was there when he died. But you guys are mourning. You don't care. And I'm having a hard time believing if you can't look me in my eyes and say that you're sorry, then there's something that you don't want me to know, and I don't know what that is. I never said you put my baby in that pool and you held him underwater, but you might as well have.
Because you don't know what happened, so you're left to just wonder.
You might as well have. And for you to not one of them to care enough to want to know or want to tell the truth. They probably already know the truth. Just like the wife of the other brother knew that he was dead before I ever even left Bowling Green. And nobody told me a word. My son was dead before you called me to tell me that I needed to come.
Wow.
Nobody contacted me. And I was told by the hospital and the first responders that they were led to believe that they were his mom and dad. Nobody said, this is not our baby. Nobody said we need to call his mom or his dad. Nobody said that. Nobody handled it correctly at all. And I have to sit here every day, every single day. It's a part of myself that's bigger than any. And you can't even tell me what really happened.
Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This shit wrong. I'm sorry. I'm still here trying to hold myself together, but I'm sorry. If you sit there, look, if you sit there and somebody's child dies on your watch, bitch, she deserves to have a conversation. She deserves to have a conversation, and she also deserves to have a face-to-face conversation with the people that's responsible for that. It's just the empathy of we don't, no matter how it happened. We all know how it happened. She don't know how it happened. Hell, we can't tell y'all how it happened because she trying to figure it out. But the thing is, for nobody not to even be at the funeral, for nobody not to even come to the funeral, y'all can say what y'all want to say and all that bullshit. For this baby to down y'all watch, y'all didn't even think enough for the baby to come to the baby funeral and all that bullshit. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. This just happened. This just happened. This shit is fucked up, y'all. This shit is fucked up. This shit is hurtful. This shit is hurtful. And how fucking dare nobody don't feel like they should be sucking her ass right now and behind her son because y'all can't bring her motherfucking son back. Can't nobody bring her son back. Her son ain't coming back.
But
and let me ask you this, because they're asking in the comments, who is the family he was with? Do you want to reveal the family that he was with? If you don't want to reveal the family, you don't got to reveal the family. But if you want to reveal the family, you can. But if you don't want to, you won't have to, and I'm not neither.
I've never wanted it to be what it is. All I've ever asked for is what happened. For you to get your kids, took her kids and with them. She put her kids in the car and left. That's why she didn't show up at the funeral home in Demopolis, Alabama. Because she couldn't lose her kids too. After letting mine die on her watch. Her husband came to the funeral home in Kentucky when I brought my son home to bury him. Her husband came and he was a wreck, crying, bawling, like he was really tore up. She never made the effort to come to the funeral home in Demopolis. She left him at the hospital. How can I be wrong for wanting answers when
you're not wrong?
Disrespectful, not even just to me, but to him. And that's your blood. That is your blood family. He is your nephew by blood. And you don't even respect him enough after being the one to neglect him to show up at his funeral or to help. I sent her how much it cost for the funeral. I sent that to her. And she said, "What's that?" I said, "It's how much it cost for the funeral." She said, "You mean to tell me you didn't have insurance on my 1-year-old son?" No, I didn't know I needed it.
And whether you had insurance on him or not, he died on your watch, baby. That's the wrong thing to ask me when my son died on your watch, to ask me about some goddamn insurance. Like, they're just real shit. They're just real shit. That's the wrong move, wrong shit. To ask somebody about some goddamn insurance. Her baby was one. She thought he was gonna die. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't prepared for her 1-year-old son to die. And so if somebody called you and asked you, about how much it costs, the only thing you can say is, They ain't have insurance, and my baby died on your watch. Then y'all, I'm sorry, that's a problem. That's a problem, and that shit is fucked up. That's a problem. It is, Mike. It is. That's a fucking problem. Let me ask you this: Is there an open investigation?
The police down there have, yeah, they didn't start an investigation until 2 weeks after it happened, when I called them and said, she's told 4 different stories. The first responder, who was the first person there, said that the story that I was told was not the truth. You need to look into this. And not to mention, I don't think that my son climbed those stairs. I don't think he did. I'm not saying that somebody held his head underwater and murdered him. I'm saying I don't think he got in there alone. And then they started an investigation, but not until I said, this doesn't make sense. It's clearly evidence something's missing. They called and the information I got from the first responder, they ended up telling me that my son's hair was dry when the first responder got there. 14 minutes after the 911 call, my son's hair was dry and he just drowned in the pool. How long did you wait to call 911?
How long had he been sitting there?
How long was he in the pool before you found him? How long was he there?
So nobody has never been able to tell you how long he was underwater?
Nope. They did not.
Can they tell you how long he was out of there when they realized he was missing?
Nope.
They can tell you. They probably just ain't told you, but they can tell you how long they realized he was missing. That's sad. Tara, I feel so bad for you, Tara. My heart really goes.
The cops at this point have told everybody involved, do not give me any other information. Do not give me any information about my son. I have every right in the world to know everything, but they have told people not to give me information. And then when I asked them, why did you tell people not to tell me anything? I never did that, but I've got proof that they did. I've got proof in my phone that they have told people not to tell me anything. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why you don't want me to know
what's going on with your son. So let me ask you this: are you getting a lawyer or to try to find out? Okay, and in getting a lawyer, and because I know you have a GoFundMe set up, and you need that GoFundMe set up because you need it financially to help you afford a lawyer, because the police officers up there, they do suck. People say it all the time. People get murdered and it's being cold cases. So let me ask you this: with you having the GoFundMe set up, and I'm gonna share it on my page when we get off of here. You didn't ask me to do that, but you need to find out what happened to your son. What outcome do you want to happen? Do you want somebody to go to prison for what happened to your son? Do you want to shit. I know what I would want, but do you want to know what happened? And when you find out what happens, what do you want to happen to the people that
my question right now is, it is a clear-cut, obvious case of neglect. Whether somebody put him in the pool or he got in there alone, it is neglect.
It is.
How do you still have your kids? And I'm not saying I want your kids to be taken away and this and this and this, but why is mine in the graveyard and you're living your life normally? And you've never had the nerve to apologize face to face like you should have. I want you to take responsibility for what you did. The day after it happened, she's posting on Facebook, cooking food in her kitchen and selling it out of her house as donations. She's got all this money put up here and there and those and them. But you can't offer me a penny to help me for what you did? What am I supposed to want? I want you to be held responsible for the fact that my 1-year-old son, who was absolutely perfect, lost his life for no reason at all. I want you to be held accountable in whatever way that needs to be. What if it, if it was your kid, if it was her kid, would she not want somebody to be held accountable?
Right.
I'm not asking for too much. I'm not asking for too much. For somebody to take responsibility, tell me what happened to you, and to respect the fact that you did it. In one way or the other, you did it.
In one way or the other, she's responsible because your son was in her care. They just point blank, period. And that's what we're not trying to say nobody sat on here and physically took somebody and murdered somebody, but the baby died in your care, sis. And if the baby died in your care, just like if your child would have died in somebody's care, they should be held responsible and held to whatever, due process it is with the law for her to, get justice with her goddamn baby. So let me ask you. Say the name. Okay. Did you want to say what family it was from? You don't have to. I'm asking you again because you never did answer the question, and I'm just reading the comments. But you don't have to if you don't. Where they're from in the family in Sweetwater.
Dixon Mill.
It's in Dixon Mill. Who?
His aunt.
What's the family? What's the family? Who is the last names of the family?
Williams.
Okay. I don't know. I got to see. Please use the term passed away or untimely demise, Kendra. Okay. Okay. Are you scared of anybody coming after you?
It's always a possibility, but honestly, what's the worst you can do?
So that's the worst thing that can happen is you take my child. My child off.
Yeah, exactly. What's the worst you can do now?
Okay. Okay. Do you mind if they ask you some questions because they got questions for you in the comments? Do you mind?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me scroll up because it looked like it may be a lot of comments. Let's see. Look, y'all. I can't. Okay, I ain't gonna be able to get on all of them. Okay. Let's see what I can see. Daddy, where he's not able to feed his baby. The baby daddy didn't have anything to do with it. The baby's father dropped the son off to his aunt to spend time with his aunt. He didn't have nothing to do with it. Somebody asked, Jasmine asked, what was on the report?
Repeat that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Jasmine asked, what was on the report? Are you talking about the police report? What was on it?
There is no police report because it's still under investigation.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Do they believe you his mother? Let's see, y'all. Sue the police. They need to pay you. Yeah, because they have bullshit. That ain't saying shit. Okay, what has the conversation been like? Do you know what the conversation has been like between the father and the baby's father and his sister? Or are they on? Do you know if they're on? Huh?
I can't. It's cutting in and out.
Okay. Do you know if your baby's father and his sister? Do you know if they still have a relationship?
He went back down there 2 weeks after it happened and bought food from her so she could post it on her Facebook page and say, thank you for the donation, money-wise, after I had earlier that day asked him to help me with the headstone for our son, and he told me he would do what he could.
Okay, so let me ask you: did the father help you pay for any of the expenses for the baby?
Not a thing, not a flower, not a anything, nothing.
Y'all, this shit fucked up. This is just fucked up all the way around. I don't want nobody not coming back DM with no bullshit unless you want to come on here and tell your side of the story. Other than that, don't come because this what happened. Nobody didn't have no empathy after all this happened. No, and nobody didn't help do nothing. If y'all over there, y'all ain't help getting up a flower. Y'all shouldn't be over there saying shit. Nobody should be over there saying shit. So yeah, right, Angela, he had to me, and I'm always to say that if he didn't help, if you buying plates, my sound going in there. I don't know what's going on with my sound. I don't know. I don't know, y'all, what's going on with it. But what I was saying is if he hasn't participated and he buying plates and posting pictures of plates and all that shit, and your son around here later tried to help you that, bro, I'm sorry. You need to, ma'am.
His dad actually went to the graveyard maybe a week ago in the middle of the night and wrote "Save me" in grass clippings across the top of the dirt that's on top of his grave. That's the type of things they're doing.
Save me.
Save me. I don't know if he was talking about himself, save him, wanting the baby to save him. I don't know, but it was written in the dirt of my son's grave, save me. His dad went to the graveyard and did that. His brother that lives here in Bowling Green decided to come into my job and get mad about the fact that I have blocked the whole family on social media.
You right, Nikki? It's my phone. Okay, it's my phone. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Nikki.
They're making it like they just didn't care. Here's my whole son, like his grandma, his aunts, his uncles, his dad, like they don't care. And I do. That was my baby. His dad went to jail for 6 months for domestic violence when the baby was 6 months old. I took care of him alone.
Was it on domestic violence on you or on someone else? You?
On me. I called the cops. He went to jail because my baby was there. It had happened before. The whole family knew. Nobody cared. Nobody said anything. Like, it was just, it is what it is. And then when he went to jail, everybody turned their back on me and was mad at me because I sent him to jail.
Which he should have had to put his hands on somebody. Take your ass to jail.
Even though I had asked for everything, just help me. Nobody knew what to do. I was stupid for staying, even though I have a little baby, and I just wanted my family.
Everybody in the been stupid.
But I finally had to do what I had to do, and he went to jail. And then when he got out of jail, we had an open Child Protective Services case. They ended it the day he left Kentucky with my son, and he didn't come back. The day Child Protective Services closed our case and said, you guys are responsible for keeping that baby safe, he left the state with him, and my baby never come home.
Y'all, Tara, I don't know what's going on. Mute your mic, Tara. Mute your mic. I don't know. You know, my heart literally breaks for you because don't no mother deserve to, as you said, see their son take their first breath, but don't see their son take their last. You don't deserve it. Y'all, you're so strong because I don't even know how you even sitting up here so soon after all this has happened. You're strong. You're not wrong. You have every right to ask questions. You got every right to scream and cuss motherfuckers out. You got every right to demand answers. You got every right to feel everything that you're feeling, and can't nobody tell you how the fuck to feel because everybody else got their baby and you don't. So, is there anything else that you would like to say to the family that is watching, or any last words or anything that you'd like to say before we close out? And I want to tell you something, y'all. If everybody can just put a dollar, if everybody can just drop something on this GoFundMe when I share this GoFundMe on my page, because y'all can help her because she needs to give her a lawyer. She deserves to have answers. I'm not gonna do no because I know people or no black and no white shit. If somebody, goddamn it, you responsible for my baby gonna come back home, you responsible for use of that person that my baby was in your care. Damn it, anybody. This ain't, I don't want to hear the shit. Anybody deserves to have empathy to know what happened to their child. I ain't picking no side. I don't give a fuck. Nobody don't come telling me about no shit because if anybody got anything they want to say or feel like anything that she said is wrong or has not been true or bring ass on the show, other than that, stay on my inbox. Don't come in my inbox and don't say bullshit because this shit is fucked up. At the end of the day, it's fucked up and her son is dead and gone. So this on period. Anything else you want to say, Carol?
They might not care, but I do. And I'm his mom, and I'm not going to stop until I find out what happened. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Mute your mic, Tara. Mute your mic again. Okay, so y'all, that is the end of our show tonight. Tara, I want to tell you thank you so much for coming on. Don't get off because I want to talk to you afterwards. Because I see some people in the comments, they got lawyers and all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna connect you to them so you can talk to them. And I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight. I know this was like a last minute thing, but it's to me, it's very important. Y'all know how I am when it comes to shit like this. Ain't no jokes and laughing and playing because this is serious. This is a mother who don't have her son. If anybody got any kind of problem with it, y'all come on the show and say what y'all got to say. She got every right to come on here and say how she feels. Her son ain't coming back. That's what I want everybody that's pissed off in the comments. That's what I want everybody that got anything mean to say in the comments. Any of the family or whatever that's gonna come in the comments and be pissed off and be mad. Guess what? Her son ain't coming back. So that cancels out everything. Anything that y'all could say, any bullshit that y'all could say, her son is dead. It's just point blank, period. So I want to tell y'all that I love you. Thank you so much, Tara, for coming on here, girl. You got a platform if you ever fucking need it. You have a platform. I love y'all. Y'all know I don't get off here without telling y'all that I love y'all. I love y'all. Y'all know I fuck with everybody that fuck with me, and you know I'm gonna see y'all later. I love y'all. Nobody told us it's gonna be